Is it recording? Yes, it is. Before I start the session, is there anyone who has a problem with the straight line function? Hello?
Ma'am?
Do you guys have a problem with the straight line function? Are there anything related to straight line functions that is giving you a problem?
On my side, ma'am, I'm fine. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So the straight line function will be in the exam. But before I talk about it, the exam will be multiple choice. So the exam will be in a format of assignment 1 and assignment 5. It means that you will have to know how to draw the graph, and you'll also have to be able to identify the graph. So if you're given an equation, can you be able to identify a graph from a list of, let's say, 5, 6 graphs? If you are given a graph, are you able to identify the equation of that particular graph that you are given? So basically, as I said, the exam will be multiple choice. Now, if we're going to talk about functions, it is important that we start with a straight line graph or a straight line function where its equation is given by y equals to mx plus b. In other textbooks, they'll say mx plus c, where m is the gradient and b is a constant, which is the y-intercept. So now on page 107, there's a small blue box there that shows the slope of a line. It says that if m is positive, meaning that the
Sorry,
slope
ma'am.
is positive. Yes.
Pages 106, is it from our study guide or from the textbook?
From the textbook. Sorry, when I say pages in the discussion classes, I'm referring to the textbook.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So it's important that you know everything. So you know, when I say this line is perpendicular to that line, what does it mean? This line is parallel to that line, what does it mean? If I give you then 2 points and I say find the equation of this straight line, of a straight line passing through that point, how do you do it? So all the basics that are related with the straight line function, you need to know them. So here, I'm just going to look at how to find the equation of a straight line. We're not going to look at a lot of things, but just to find the equation of a straight line. And then you'll have to go to pages 106 and 113 so that you can just touch up on the knowledge that you already have. So now where m is the slope of the line. So they say if m is positive, meaning that m is greater than 1, the slope will then look like this. So this is y and this is x. And if m is negative, meaning that m is less than 0. Why am I saying less than 1? Less than 0, the slope will look like this. This is a graph, not the slope, but the graph with a negative slope will look like this. So it will be decreasing like this. So for 0 slope, it means we have a horizontal line. So a line that touches that cuts the y-axis, something like this. So this is where m is equals to 0. Now, for no slope, it means that we have a what? We have a vertical line. So it will look like this. A line that touches the x-axis, that cuts the x-axis. That is no slope. So that is on page 107. So now, let's say we're given 2 points. So we're going to look at example 3 from the textbook. Let's say you're given 2 points And we want to find the equation of a straight line that passes through these 2 points. So let's say you're given 2 points, 1 and 2. So -1 and 2, and you're given the point 3 with -4. So now we want to find the equation of a straight line that passes through these 2 points. What is our equation? Our equation is given by y equals to mx plus what? Plus b. So the first thing is to find m, which is the gradient. So this means m is given by changing y over changing x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or can be y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Remember, do not make a mistake. If you started with y2 here, at the bottom here, you also have to start with x2. If you started with y1, you also have to start with x1. So these two, this one and this one, will give you the exact answer, the same answer. So let's say we choose this point called point 1 and this point 2. Let's say in this point, we then say this is x1 and this is y1. And with this point here, we say this is x2 and this is y2. Now to find the slope, we then take these 2 points and substitute, right? So let's use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our y2 is given by -4. So when substituting, make sure that you look at the signs of these y or x values so that you do not make a mistake. So our y2 is, okay, let me write here. We're using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our y2 is -4 minus our y1 is +2 over our x2, which is 3, minus, look at this one, it has a negative sign. So then I'll put it into the brackets. So our y was this, our x1 will be equals to -1. So then this will give us -4 minus -2 over 3 plus, because negative times positive, negative times negatives gives us positive. So then plus 1. So this is equals to -6 over 4, which is equals to -3 over 2. Now, if we look at the value of our gradient, our m here, we can see that this is actually negative, meaning that if you were to be asked to draw a graph with such a gradient, it means our graph would have to look something like this, because it then has a negative slope. Our graph will look like this, something like this. From left to right, it will be decreasing, basically. That's how our graph will look like, something like this, because then our m is what? Is negative. Now that we found our m, we're going to use y minus y1 equals to mx minus x1. You can choose either this point to substitute or this point to substitute to get the values for y1 and x1. So let's say we choose this point over here, -1, 2, right? We know that our m is equals to -3 over 2. So then we're going to substitute. So y minus, this is y1, so put 2 here. We know that our gradient is -3 over 2, x minus -1. So then this is equals to this is equals to -3 over 2x. Okay, let's do it step by step. Let me not go straight to the answer. Let's do it step by step. So this is y minus 2 equals to -3 over 2x. Sorry. So minus 3 over 2. Let's sort this in, let's sort what is inside the bracket. So this is x plus 1. Then we say y minus 2 equals to minus 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2. Are we all together up to that point? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am, we are together.
Okay, thank you. So let's continue. So we had y minus 2 is equals to minus 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2 plus, sorry, can't say plus 2 now. So we take the 2 to the other side. So then this will be y equals to minus 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2 plus 2. So then this will give us y is equals to minus 3 over 2x plus 1 over 2. Now, sometimes I might not want you to represent it like this, but I might want you to represent it in a general form, right? Meaning that is on page, so that is on page 1, is it? General equation of a line. So that is on page 110. So the general equation of a line says you have a x plus b y plus c. I might want you to represent it in this manner. So for us to represent it in that manner, it means that here we'll multiply by 2 both sides. So if you multiply by 2 both sides, we have 2y equals to minus 3x plus 1. So we take everything to the other side. We then have 3x plus 2y minus 1 equals to 0. So this is the general equation of a line that passes through the points -1 and 2 and the point 3 and -4. Are we all okay there? Are we all sorted? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I don't understand the general rule ax plus by plus c.
Okay, so the general equation of a line is when I ask you to represent, let's say you have y is equals to what we got basically 3 over 2x plus 1 over 2, right? This is what we got. Y is equals to mx plus b, where our m is equals to -3 over 2 and our b is just 1 over 2, right? Now, if I say represent this equation here in a general equation of a line, it means that you'll have to represent it like this: a x plus b y plus c, where c will be a constant. So a and b will not be equals to 0. Should not, sorry, let me not say should not be equals to 0, because sometimes it might be equals to 0 if you have y equals to x. Sorry, okay, I'm making a mistake. A and b both not equals to 0, but c can be equals to 0, because then if you have an equation like y equals to 2x, c is equals to 0. You don't have a constant. So if you're going to represent this equation in a general equation line, this will be this will be 2x plus y equals to 0. So let's represent what we have in a general equation line. We have y equals to minus 3 over 2x plus 1 over 2, right? So if we write it in this manner, minus 3 over 2x plus y plus 1 over 2. This is the general equation, man, right? But because we want these values to not be fractions, we just multiply by 2. So this becomes -3. If we multiply by 2, this 2 cancels that 2. Plus 2 times y plus 2 times 1 over 2 equals to 0. So then we have minus 3x plus 2y plus, okay, something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. So I took this -3 to that side, so it becomes positive. I took this half to that side, so it becomes negative. So then this becomes positive, negative, negative, -1 equals to 0. Then I've represented this equation in a general equation line where A is equals to 3, B is equals to 2, and C is equals to -1. Are you okay on that one?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Now let's go to a quadratic function, which is also called a parabola. So let's just call it a parabola. So a quadratic function has 3 forms, right? You can represent it in 3 forms. So the first one is called the standard form, which is y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. The second one, it's when you actually factorize the standard form, right? So this is y is equals to ax minus x1, then x minus x2. So here, these are just the x-intercepts. Now the third one is this one that we have in assignment 2, which is y equals to ax minus p squared plus q. This is sometimes called the vertex form. Are we all together up to that point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, if I give you an equation like this one here, right? From this equation, the advantage of this equation is that you can be able to find the x-intercept of the graph easily, meaning that the x-intercept, it's just x1, 0, and x2, 0. These are the points where the quadratic graph will then intersect, or the parabola will then intersect. Are we all together? Any question?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So now, let's look at this value here of A. A is very important because then it tells you how your graph looks. If A is greater than 0, it means that your graph will look like a smiley face. Who am I drawing? So it will look like this, meaning that A is +1, +2, +3, and whatsoever. Now, if A is less than 0, meaning that the value of A is negative, your graph will then look like this. Are we all together?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, let's look at this one over here, sometimes called the vertex form. This one is what we have in assignment 2. Now, the advantages of this one is that you can actually find the turning point of your graph. Remember, our parabola will either look like this or will look like this, depending on the value of A. So if A is negative, it will look like this. If A is positive, it will look like this. Now the point, this is called the turning point, where your parabola turns, right? And this is the maximum value of your parabola. And this is the minimum value of your parabola. Now, to this point, sometimes this point is called the vertex as well, right? but we also call it the turning point of a parabola. With this equation here, this point, its coordinate is given by PQ. Take the value of P in the bracket and take the value of Q in the bracket. And remember, how do you find, okay, let me make an example. Let's say you have y equals to 2x plus 1 squared plus 3. What would be the point of the turning point? The coordinates of a turning point?
1:3.
1:3.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Guys? What will be the coordinates of the turning point? Ryan? Ryan? Tato? Are you there? Hello, guys. What will be the coordinate of a turning point? Hello?
G'day.
Tanya?
G'day, yes, Prof.
I know you just came in now. What will be the coordinates of a turning point on this equation here? Y is equals to 2 bracket x plus 1 squared plus 3. What will be the coordinates of the turning point?
Okay, if I need to simplify, it's going to be y equals 2x, 3 plus 2x. Wait, let me just quickly.
Okay, before that, I was showing, okay, because you just came in now, I was showing there are three ways which you can represent a parabola. The first one is called the standard form, y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Now the second one, it's a factorization form, which is y is equals to ax minus x1, x minus x2, right? And then the third one, sometimes called the vertex form, which is then equals to y equals to ax minus p bracket squared plus q. I said from the second one, you can actually be able to find the x-intercept where the graph touches, where the graph cuts the x-axis. Then your x-intercept will be x1 and 0 and x2 and 0. Now, from this point here, the vertex form x minus p squared plus q, you can be able to find the turning point of the graph, meaning that the turning point, the coordinates of the turning point would then be what? Would then be p and q. Now, my question was, if you are given y is equals to 2x, I need to, how do I get rid of the small x? Okay, x plus 1 squared plus 3. What would be the turning point? So the first answer, I got that the coordinates of the turning point will be what? 1 and 3. I want the second option. Then I'll explain if it is correct or not. May I please have a second option? So in our case, this a is 2 here, x plus 1, q is 3. Please help. May I please get the second answer?
X plus 1.
I don't mind even if I can get it from the same person. but it has to be different from what I was given.
It's 2 x.
I don't want you to factorize it. I don't want to simplify it. I want you to look at this equation and give me the equation of a turning point. I'm not the equation, sorry, the coordinates of the turning point.
It is -1, ma'am. -1 and 3.
-1 and 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have two answers here, right? Now, this is what I want you to always do. And this will not only help you with a parabola, but it will also help you with the absolute value function, which then is also, what is this? Assignment 2, question 10, the last question is what we're going to look at here. If you are given y equals to ax minus p squared plus q, and I ask you to find the coordinate of the turning point, what you do is you take whatever is inside the bracket and equate it to 0. So that is x minus p equals to 0. Therefore, this is x equals to p, right? That is your p. Do you see that? And then your q, you take it exactly the way it is. You don't change the sign. If it's positive, you take it positive, the way it is as positive. If it's negative, you take it the way it is. Do you see that? So it means that y is equals to, for this function here, y equals to 2x plus 1 squared plus, what is it? Plus 3. The equation of it, I mean the point, the coordinate, why am I saying the equation? The coordinate of the turning point will be given by, remember what we do on the side. We take whatever is inside the bracket and equate it to 0. So it's x plus 1 equals to 0.
Yeah.
X is equal to -1. So then that point is -1. What did I say about the q value? The q value, you take it the way it is. So in this case, it's positive. So this is -1 and what? Which is this one over there. Are we all sorted?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I understood that also now.
Yes. So let's look at just one example. Because remember, I can give you a graph and say, find the coordinate of a turning point. I give you this one. Can you answer very quickly, please? Minus 2x minus 7 squared minus 4. Can I please get the coordinate of the turning point?
7 and -4.
Thank you very much. You see how easy it is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Give me the coordinates of the turning point. Is it that easy?
Ma'am, we need to use that formula that is x is equals to b squared divided by 2a from this
Do you see
formula.
that?
Yes.
Okay. Before we go there, let me put this one aside, right? Before we go there, I wanted to show you something first before we use the formula. What didn't I show you? Okay, let me show you this first. Okay, so let's say we draw a graph. We're going to draw our parabola here. This is our parabola. So it doesn't look nice, né? But I just want to look at it. Okay, let me draw another proper one. Sorry about that. There are certain things that we need to identify. It's very important that we identify those things. So let's say our parabola looks like this. Right? And then it cuts here, it cuts here, it cuts here, right? And then there's this also important point there. Are we all together?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is a parabola. It's the value of A. Is it positive or negative?
It is positive
Why?
because our graph is facing upward.
Thank you. So the value of A is positive. Meaning that if I give you an equation and say this equation, given this equation, y equals to ax plus b plus c, for example, x plus c, find a graph that represents this equation. So the first thing, you look at the value of A. It means that you eliminate all the values of A. If A is greater than 0 or positive, you eliminate all the value of all the graphs that are facing downwards, and you look at the graphs that are facing upward, because that's how your exam will be. So I'll give you an equation, for example, and say, give me the graph of this equation. Choose, not give me, but choose the graph of this equation from the list that you are given here. Or if not, I might give you a graph and say, give me the equation of this graph here. Now, what is this point called? This one.
It's called our y-cut.
Yes. Our y-cut, or in a normal term, they'll say y-intercept.
Yes, yeah.
What are these 2 points called?
The x-intercept. Yeah, sorry.
And then what is this point called?
It's the vertex. The turning point. Yeah. The vertex.
Vertex? But for a parabola, what do you normally call it?
The turning point.
Thank you. Because a vertex is the point that defines the minimum or the maximum of the graph. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. So don't confuse it with a turning point. It is the turning point for in this case, right? But then it also defines the maximum or the minimum value of the graph. For example, if I say find the maximum value of y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, then you know that you're actually finding what point. Do you see that? So
Yes,
in this
ma'am.
one, you can also call it the turning point in this case, the TP. Let's call it TP.
Okay.
When I give you a graph, you need to be able to identify these points. Do you see that? Normally,
Yes,
I won't say to you, give me the x-intercept, give me the y-intercept. I'll just say A, B, C, D. And I say, give me the coordinates of B. If you don't know that B is an x-intercept, then you won't be able to what? To solve the problem. Does that make sense?
yes, ma'am.
If I say, give me the coordinates of D, you know D is a turning point. Therefore, you'll say X is equals to minus B over 2A. But if you are given Y is equals to AX minus B squared plus Q, you know that since D is a turning point, therefore the coordinate of G will just be P and Q. So it's very important that you identify what they are asking you. If I say find the coordinates of A, then you know that A is what? A is a y-intercept. And how do you find that y-intercept? How do you find that x-intercept? So what we're going to use for a parabola, it's the same thing that we're going to use. Not exactly the same thing, but it's the same manner. It's the same route that we're going to apply for your absolute value function. Now, there's this line that passes through here. My teacher used to say it cuts the parabola into half. What do you call it?
Ma'am, I don't know it. I just saw it now.
It's important you know it.
I don't know how to pronounce it now.
Yes.
Let me think. I do came across it. It starts with a P if I'm not in if I'm
So
not correct.
basically,
Ma'am, which point is
this
this?
line, it's a line that cuts the parabola into half, and you can, it's like when you fold it on that line, if you fold the parabola on that line, they will meet like your hands equally.
Yes. Ma'am, it's the line of symmetry.
Thank you. Line of symmetry. Do you guys remember it? Now,
I do remember it now, yes, ma'am.
if you don't remember it, you know this word, axis of symmetry.
Yeah.
Also called the axis of symmetry. Now, the line of symmetry, look at this. Let it not confuse. The line of symmetry is given by x equals to minus b over 2a. Are we all together? Guys?
That's me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is someone lost? Are we lost? Guys, I need to know. I'm saying the line of symmetry. Okay, let me define the line of symmetry before then, so maybe it might make sense. The line of symmetry is a line that will cut the parabola into two equal halves. So let's say it's actually a vertical line in this case. In our case, we'll use a vertical line because then our parabola will face either up or down. So it's a vertical line. It cuts here like this. Cuts here like that. You see where the turning point is? Guys, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That line, remember a vertical line will be represented by what? By x equals to something. Any line in a Cartesian plane, if it cuts here like this, here, this will be x, let's say -2, this will be x equals to -2. So our line of symmetry is the value of x, right? So it will be x equals to something. That line that is represented by x equals to something. But remember, our turning point is here, right? Our turning point is here. So it means that this point here, the line of symmetry cuts that turning point. And what did we say our turning point is? Our turning point, if we have y equals to ax minus p squared plus q, our turning point is what? Is p and q. Meaning that if you have this form, and I ask you to find the equation of the line of symmetry, it means that x is equals to what? X is equals to p. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, I did ask, I was like, I want you to find the turning point when I have y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. And someone said, ma'am, the x value of that point is equal to x equals to minus b over 2a. And this value, which is the same value of p, is actually the line of symmetry. Are we all together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Now that we know what is our y-intercept, what is a y-intercept, what is a x-intercept, let's sketch. Let's say you're given f of x is equals to x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now, to sketch this graph, remember those important points. We want the y-intercept, the x-intercept, as well as the what? The turning point. Now, in this case, let's start with the y. Now, to find the y-intercept, we let x equals to 0, meaning that wherever you see x, remember this is the same as y, so y equals to, wherever you see x, you substitute 0. So in our case, meaning that the y-intercept is -3. So the coordinates where what's this? Where the parabola cuts the y-intercept will be given. Oh, sorry, where the parabola cuts the y. Yes, the y in the Cartesian plane will be given by 0 and -3. So that is our y-intercept. Are we all together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now the x-intercept. X-int. Now the x-intercept is let x. Okay, sorry. Let y equals to 0. Let y equals to 0. You know why do we let y equals to 0 and x equals to 0? Guys?
No, ma'am, I don't know.
You
It's
assign
because
that. Yeah.
Yes?
You assign you actually substitute the x with a 0 or assign 0 to x.
Yes. But why are we doing it? It is because, can we all agree or disagree? If I move in this line here, the whole y-intercept, I mean the whole y, do we agree that at this point in this line, x is equals to 0?
Yes, yes. Because that
Right?
is the point of origin.
Yes.
Yes.
So x is equals to 0 at that point. So it means that I want to find a point at that point. And I know if I'm finding a point at that point, definitely x is equals to 0. That's why we're letting it equals to 0. Does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Same here. Yes? Is there a question?
No, I just
Same
said
here.
I understand, ma'am.
Oh, you saying what? Sorry.
No, I just said I understand.
Okay. Now, if I move in the x values, do we all agree that y will definitely be 0?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Even here at the origin, y is 0. So meaning that definitely we want to find where the graph cuts, and here, those points will definitely be equals to 0. That's why we let y equals to 0. Now let's continue. Now that we understand, let's continue. What is our equation? I forgot. So this is y equals to x squared minus 2x minus 3. So we are saying let y equals to 0 because we know that at that line y equals to 0. So this is x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Now my issue is here. Are we all okay with factorizing? Are we all okay with factorizing? If we're not okay with factorizing, please tell me. Maybe I can go and look for videos so that you can check factorizing, because it's important in this module. Now, Let's solve here. Can I please get answers? I'm just going to give you 1 minute and tell me what I put inside the brackets. Am I talking to myself? Okay. Now I'm
No,
going to
ma'am.
give, okay. I'm going to give you 1 minute. I just need to drink water and then you give me the answers. May I please have the answers?
X plus 1, first bracket, and the second bracket, x minus 3.
Anyone who disagree? Anyone who disagrees? Do you have anyone who disagrees? Yes, no? So it means x is equals to 3 or x is equals to -1, meaning the point of the x-intercept will be what? Will be 3 and 0 and -1 and 0. Okay, we have our y-intercept and we have our x-intercept. Now we want our turning point. Sorry. Our TP, right? But because we know that y is equals to x squared minus 2x minus 3, right? How do we find our turning point? Remember that we said the line of symmetry, the value of x of the line of symmetry is actually the value of x of the turning point. Do you still remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we know that our line of symmetry is x equals to minus b over 2a. And we say that the x value, okay, the x that you get for our line of symmetry is actually the same as the, what's this? The value for the turning point. So meaning that turning point, let's call it the xTP and yTP. So now the turning point, xTP, is equals to minus b over 2a. But how do we find minus b over 2? Remember, this is a standard form. And we say the standard form is y equals to a x squared minus 2. What am I saying now? So it's y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. So in this case, our b is equals to what? -2. I do not want you to make a mistake. Our b is -2. And our a is equals to 1. So look at how I substitute. xTP is equals minus of the formula, brackets, minus b over 2. What is the value of a? of the value of A is 1. 1. So this is equals to 2 over 2, meaning that that will be 1. Are we all sorted there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now that we have found the value of the turning point, what am I saying? Now that we have found the value of x, of the coordinate of the turning point, we can then substitute into the original equation to get the value of y of the turning point. So what is our original equation? We know that our original equation is equals to y x squared minus 2x minus 3. So because we have the x value of the coordinates of the turning point, we want the yTp. So the yTp will be given by xTp squared minus 2xTp minus 3. Let's substitute. That will then be 1 squared minus 2, 1 minus 3. Let's use our brains because we're not allowed to use calculators. So this is minus 5, this is minus 4. So meaning that our turning point is actually what? 1 and minus 4. Are we all together there?
Yes, ma'am. Even for y-intercept, if I used the formula of y-intercept, it's still the same.
Not
Yes.
the formula of y-intercept, but then there is a formula that has been derived. For example, if you want to, you're saying, oh, me, I don't want to substitute. I want to substitute into the formula. It means that if you're given y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, and you want to find the turning point, you can use minus b over 2a 4ac minus b squared over 4a. That's the formula. You can use that formula to find the turning point.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Are we all sorted? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Guys? Okay. We can try it and see if we get the answer. If we don't, it means it's wrong. But if we do, then it means it's right. So we're saying the turning point is equals to minus b over 2a, comma 4ac minus b squared over 4a, right? So what is our a? Our a is equals to 1, our b is equals to -2, our c is equals to -3. So then let's substitute. So it says minus b, so that's minus. We did this one, but then we can still do it again. 2, 1, comma 4a is 1, c is what? -3 minus b is -2 squared 4 of 1, right? So this is equals to 2 over 2, the side. So this is minus 12 minus 2 squared, -2 squared, that's 4 over 4. So this 2 over 2 to divide by 2 is 1, and then we have minus 16 over 4, which is equals to 1 -4. Then we have found the turning point using the formula. Are we all sorted?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, do you have your assignment 2 close? Very close.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to go look at question 10. Now, I'm going to give you 1 minute and tell me, is it easy or is it hard now? Question 10. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Look at assignment 2. The last question is there's a parabola and the absolute value function. Please look at it. Giving you 1 minute.
And then we do one.
Ma'am,
Yes?
can I just quickly, I have a question, but it's not related to it is related to assessment 2, but as far as I know, assessment 2 is already supposed to be submitted.
Yes.
Yes, so, but the thing is, I made a really stupid move. I submitted another subject.
I saw your email.
Yeah.
I'll respond to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll respond to you.
Thank you.
Okay, go to go to question 2. And then what am I saying? Assignment 2, look there and tell me, how do you find the question now? I'm going to give you 1 minute.
Ma'am, you give us 1 minute to do what?
You don't have to do the question, right? But you just look at the questions. Look at the question and tell me, how do you find it now, after we have done this session. Hello? Are you guys looking at it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Marcos,
Yes,
how are you
ma'am.
finding it now? Don't look
Yes,
at
ma'am.
this question. How are you finding it now?
For me, like, can I?
Hmm?
I'm still a bit confused now, especially about 10.1, where you have to find.
No.
the-
Don't look
Oh,
at 10.1. 10.1
yeah,
is not covered in the session yet.
okay.
So this is for Tanya and Makot. Makot, let me.
Ma'am,
Yes, how are you finding it now?
I'm not finding where, because FFX, it's absolute value x minus p.
No, not that one. I don't want you to look at that one.
The
Go
g
to
of
the
x.
second question.
Oh, the second one. Write down the coordinates of E.
And the coordinate.
What did I write by E?
Then I find it. I
Find
find
it
it.
minus
The coordinates of
I need to see how did I get to minus 4 minus 9.
Why am I talking to myself now? How are you guys finding it now?
For me, it is more clear, man.
yes,
I just
Makot.
need to kind
Yes, Tanya, sorry. You say?
no, I see for me it is more clear as to how to find the turning point.
That's good.
yes, ma'am.
Makoto, how is it looking now?
Yes, it's now making sense, ma'am. It's making sense now.
Okay. So I already did the memo, but then so what will happen is I'm only going to give, how many people are in this session? There are 4 sessions. I'm only going to 4 people, sorry. I'm only going to give the next session if I get, let's say, 3 solutions in my email on question 10.
Question 10, okay.
I'm not blackmailing people, but you know what? I feel like doing that. So what will happen is, okay, before that, let me give you a few minutes. I just want to check something. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, by just looking at it, look at the graph. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
But I want
Yes.
all the solutions. I want you to write today and send them to me. You see the graph, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Write down the coordinates of E. What is E?
E is the turning point.
The turning point, yes.
Now you know how to find it. Calculate the coordinate of A. What is A?
So
A is the
X.
left root of the parabola.
Okay, we didn't talk about the roots.
X
The roots are
intercept.
also called the x-intercept, by the way. So
Yeah.
what is A?
It's an X intercept.
Thank you. Brian says the roots, yes. Calculate the coordinates of B. What is B?
B is the other x intercept.
So was I supposed to give you one? Because I'm sure if you were calculating A, you already found B.
Yeah.
Okay, now listen to this. M is the reflection of C in the axis of symmetry of G. Do you all know what an axis of symmetry now is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now you're going to write the coordinates of M. So I'll want, if I get, listen to this, if I get 3 out of 4, there are 1,500 and something, 80 something of you guys in this module. If I only get 4 if I only get 3 out of 4, because today you are only 4. If I only get 3 out of 4 solution from you guys sent to me via email, I'll upload the solution for assignment, not for us for the whole assignment, because I want us to prepare for the exam. Also prepare for the exam. I'll upload question 10, the memo for question 10 only. And then until we finish all the questions and all of the assignment. Do you all agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. Because I want good marks. Remember, the exam is 80%, assignments are 20%. So if we push, then definitely we're going to get very good marks at the end of the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There's something that's very important that I did not look at, especially for a straight line. Y equals to 2x plus 1. Give me the domain and give me the range of this function. Come on.
Domain X is element of real numbers.
Range.
Range
Is Y element of real.
Good. My brain was telling me it's X. Y element of real.
Yes.
But it's tired. So what I write, remember it's a discussion class. What I write, if it's wrong, we fix it.
Yes,
Why
ma'am.
is this, that? Why the domain is X element of real numbers? Why is Y the range Y element of real numbers? And by the way, you can also write this as an element of negative infinity to positive infinity. Or Y is an element of negative infinity to positive infinity. Know all those notation, all the set notation, element of real numbers, such that X is this. I want you to know all these notations. Very important, because I might bring this notation and then you don't understand it. Bring this notation and then you don't understand it. Then you might not be able to choose the correct answer. Why is X element of real numbers? Why is the range Y element of real numbers? Why
Ma'am,
not
the
say
domain
yes?
is going to be all of the X numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. That is called your domain. And your
Why?
range is all of the Y values that can fit in the function under all the conditions that apply. With a straight line function, it's only a straight line and there's no limitations. There's no, recall that again. There is no, yeah, there's no limitations basically. So it can go from negative infinity on the y-axis to positive infinity.
Okay. Let's assume I didn't know maths, or I don't even know maths. This is how I define the domain, right? The domain, listen to it. The domain is any value of X, right? If I go on the number line and I choose any value of X in that number line, and I substitute here, I should get an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Those are, if I get an answer, those values will go into the domain basket of this function. If it happens, I take a value of X on the number line, substitute into this function here, and then it's either I get undefined or an error. Then that value is not part of the domain of the function.
Yes, ma'am.
Same applies to Y. Let me make an example. If I have Y equals to 1 over X plus 2, can I still say the domain is X element of real numbers? Can I still do that on this one?
Yes, ma'am, but the thing is you have to exclude -2. Otherwise, it's going to be 0 at the bottom, which is an undefined number. 1
There
over
we
0.
go. There we go. So what you say is you go on the number line and choose a value and say, if there's a value that I can substitute and do not get an answer, that value is not part of the domain. And in this case, y is equals to 1 over, that value is -2, because if I choose -2, it will be -2 plus 2 over, equals to 1 over 0, which is undefined.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
see that?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. So it means that the domain of this one will be element of real numbers. But let me write it in a set notation. But x should not equals to -2. Because once x is equals to -2, then my function is what? Is undefined. Now, for the straight line, you can choose any number that you like, billion, millions, and trillions, and whatsoever, to numbers that we can't even pronounce, and substitute. You'll always get an answer. That is why x is equals to element of, x is from -infinity to, what am I saying? X is an element of real numbers, no restriction, and the range as well. Now, let's go to the parabola. I have my parabola like this, or I have my other parabola like this. A is greater than 0, and A is less than 0. Now, help me with the domain. And help me with the range.
So the domain will still be element of real because it can go left and it can go right.
Okay.
There are no limitations or restrictions on that one. But for the range will be, if it is a positive graph, so if A is greater than 0, then your range will be from the lowest point, meaning your turning point, upwards.
Okay.
Okay, so
And
to
then the
positive
other one?
And then for the other one, it will be from your maximum point, which is also your turning point, downwards.
Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So it means that if you see a parabola, you're like, it's facing this one. You go to the turning point here. You see this turning point here. Remember, we said it's XP, XTP, and YTP. And here is also XTP and YTP. It means that for this graph here, let's draw it properly. This is the graph. And it faces up like this, and that point there is there. Do you see that this graph only takes, let me find the highlight. This graph takes the y values here from this point up. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So it means that the range for this one will be YTP greater. Yes, greater or equals to that point. What am I saying? Sorry. I'm not talking. Y is greater or equals to YTP. Are we all okay there?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, meaning even when it faces down like this, it means that, remember, YTP here, it means that our YTP is big. If it faces like this, our range, YTP. Do you see that our YTP is up here? And any values that are down, they come here, they are less than YTP. So it means that the range here is what? Less or equals to YTP. Do you see the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Domain and range. Now, move here. We need to move. I want you to find, if I say move from y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c to y equals to ax minus p squared plus q. Can you do that for me? If you are given an equation. Yes, no? Maybe. Can you
No,
move from
ma'am.
the standard point to that point?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember completing the square?
I add 2 on the both sides.
Hmm?
Completing the squares, I add 2 or I multiply by 2 on the both sides.
Not that one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Who remembers completing the square? Anyone?
I do, ma'am.
Okay.
So-
1 out of 4. Wait. Let's see.
Yeah.
We need to be balanced here. Remember, we are all going to write the same exams. We need to make sure everyone is sorted. Listen, guys, I do support group work, but I do not support plagiarism or copying from each other. Last year we had students who are working together and then we had discussion sessions. So that's still fine. And they were able to pass the module. So you can form a group and then work together, ask me questions, work together, ask me questions. But I do not want to find your solutions in the assignments same because you guys were copying from each other. No, that is a no-no. So 1 out of 4. Who else? Who else remembers? Tanya, are you still there? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Who else
No,
is there?
I'm still here.
Tato. Tato. I haven't heard from Tato. 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 Okay. Do you still remember completing the square, Tanya?
Ma'am, I'm not sure now if we refer to that will we factorize or we have to solve the equation.
Okay. So I think here, completing the square, I might ask you completing the square. I might ask you to move from one form to the next of the parabola. I might ask you. So it's very important that you remember. So because let me just do it because just to remind you guys. Just to remind you guys, and then Ryan, you will check my steps. Did you
Yes,
remember it? Thank you.
Yeah,
So we
ma'am, I
have
do.
y equals to 2x squared. So the reason why we're completing the square here is because we want to, let me see, we have y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. We have the standard form, and we want to move from the standard form to the vertex form, which is y equals to ax minus p squared plus q. We want to move from here to here. So where is that here that we have? So the here that we have is y is equals to 2x squared minus 6x minus 10. Now, the first step that you want to do, and I'm going to ask Makot what it means. I'm going to tell you what to do and give you the answer. The first step is you look at the coefficient, I almost said coordinate. You look at the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared is the number, this one, that is sitting just next to the x value. What is the coefficient of x squared in this case?
It's 2, ma'am.
It's 2. I do not want it to be 2 when you're completing the square. It must be 1. I don't want it to be 5. I do not want it to be 7 or 20 or whatever. It must be 1. Are we all together?
Yes, ma'am.
It must be 1, ma'am.
Yes. Do something. Do some maths magic so that it's always 1 when you start to complete the square.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Then Makoto, how can we make it 1 for now?
We divide it by 2 because 2 divided by 2 is going to give us 1.
So where do I divide?
You divide the whole terms the coefficient of x squared and the coefficient of x and the value of 10.
We are missing something they told you in grade 3. What did they say?
They said when we divide, we must make it equals to 0. We equate the equation.
I don't want you to equate. You can equate this expression, but for now, I don't want you to equate this expression to equals to 0 because it's a function. It's a quadratic function. Remember. So I want you to complete this quadratic equation. You're saying we divide by 2x. So you're going to divide 2x squared minus 6x minus 10 by 2. Can someone help me and remind us what they said in grade 3, 4, and 5? I'm sure. What did they say?
Ma'am, you factorize.
Were you factorizing in grade 3?
No, but
is that
but-
multiples?
yeah, basically you factorize all of the terms.
You didn't even, it's not even math. They say what you do is what you do. Remember that saying?
Yes, ma'am.
What you do on the right, you also have to do on the
Left.
On the left.
So why, Makhots, are you only doing on the right and not doing on the left? It means you're not doing math.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So what you do on the right-hand side, you also have to do on the left-hand side. So since you divided by 2 on the right-hand side, what are you going to do on the left-hand side?
I'm going to divide by 2.
Thank you. So this is why. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's do that. So y divide by 2 equals to this whole thing, x squared minus 6x minus 10. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Now, this is y over 2 equals to, so you have x squared minus 3x minus 5. What did I say? You cannot start completing the square if the coefficient of x squared is not equals to 1. Can we now start completing the square?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So when you're completing the square now, you're focusing on the right-hand side. Okay? Listen to this. You take x squared minus 3x. You leave some space and write minus 5 there. Do you see? Small steps.
Yes,
That's the first step. Now, you're going to add something and then you subtract something. Does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
The reason why it makes mathematical correct is that you give me 2 rand and you take 2 rand and you tell me I have 2 rand. I have nothing. So that's the reason why you add that value and you subtract it so that it is mathematically correct. So now, you then add, does it make sense now? You add something. That's something you minus it again. I need space here. Let's do this. You add that something and then you minus that something again and minus 5. Because if you add that something, you minus it, it still takes you to this step. So now, what is the value of B in our case?
It's 3, ma'am.
It is?
Negative.
Oh, negative 3.
Guys, you need to be careful with the negative and the positive sign. Because in the exam, me, when I make solutions, I take the negative, I substitute, take the positive, I substitute, I get the right answer, I get the wrong answer, and I give you one of the others as option. So if you make a mistake, you'll get one of the answers and you think you are right. Does it make sense now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So in the exam, that's how I make my solutions. I say, my quarter might say 3. I take that 3, I put it, and I complete the square. I get a solution, and then I put it. And then the right one says minus 3. I take that -3, I put it, I get the right solution. So when you substitute and you make a mistake, you might think, ah, it's this one, when no. So make sure your signs are very important. So your B is -3. Yeah? So here,
Yes, ma'am.
what you substitute in here, I will erase this. What you substitute in here, it's minus B. What am I saying? Sorry. Okay. It's the same as minus B over 2 squared. Do you see that? Guys?
Ma'am, I don't think the negative is supposed to be there. I think it's just B over 2 and then all of that squared.
Yes, you are right.
I
Sorry.
think so. I think maybe because I
you
know
are
there's
correct.
another one for a turning point as well, Moss.
So it's 1 over 2 times B squared.
Yes.
1 over 2 times B squared. You are right. So inside here, it's B over 2 squared, right?
Yes,
Are we
ma'am.
all together? Are we all together, guys?
Yes,
The reason
ma'am.
why I'm saying it's B over 2 squared, I want to show you something. Okay, why is it not erased? So in our case, this is equals to, thank you, Ryan, for helping me. So this is equals to x squared minus 3x plus half of, what is B here? It's -3. -3 squared minus 1 over 2 times -3 squared minus 5 equals to x squared minus 3x, and then this will be plus 9 over 4 minus 9 over 4 minus 5. Now, so what you're going to do now, you take this part and factorize, and then add or subtract these two. Does it make sense? Guys?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. You see this part here, where we added and subtracted?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't draw a line, but you only focus, let's say you draw a line, and then you focus on what is on the right of the line, what is on the left of the line. On the right of the line, do you agree it's x squared minus 3x plus 9 over 4?
Yes, ma'am.
And then on the left of the line is -9 over 4 minus 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Then I want you to factorize here. This part here, what do you get? What do you get?
Ma'am, when you're factorizing the left side, you're going to get
Wait.
all right.
I want them to think about it first, then you can give me the answer.
All right.
Tanya and Makot.
Yes, ma'am. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, ma'am.
You're working on it.
Yes, ma'am.
You're
I'm
not using a
trying.
calculator, isn't it?
No, ma'am. I'm opening the brackets and find two numbers that if I multiply them, they will give me 9 over 4. And if I add them or subtract them, they give me 3x, negative 3x.
Can Ryan help you with that one? I don't want you to find those numbers. I want him to point you those numbers. Ryan?
Yes, ma'am. So when you're going to factorize the trinomial up there, you're going to
Yes.
get x minus 3 over 2 in one bracket and then exactly the same in the other bracket.
What did you do?
So I used the shortcut that my teacher taught me. It's you basically, you know, where you take your half of your b value. Yeah, so you take that inside and you ignore the square for now because you want to put that b value, the half of the b value, inside of your new brackets. Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be x minus 3/2. And then in the second bracket, it's exactly the same.
Did you see what he did?
Yes, ma'am, I see.
So with the completing the square, we only do the, okay, I'm not saying we only, it has been there for a long time, but according to me, I would just stop here and then edit these ones and yeah. But then let's do the steps. Did you see what he did? Tanya?
He basically,
I want you to repeat what he said.
pardon?
I want you to repeat what he said. I want to see if you have understood.
Yes, basically he got, if he, the 9/4, he basically got the square, like,
Tanya, you are focusing on the 9/4. You are wasting time. The exam is 2 hours. What did he say?
what did he say? He basically said you ignore the 2, then you take half of b times b, and but that is where I got lost now, because I don't know if I do see 3/4, because the square of 9 is 3 to the power of 2, and then 2 to the power of 2 to get 4. But can you maybe just give more clarity as to why half times b and ignore the square, that specific step to get to 3/2?
Okay. It's not per se ignoring the square. It's mostly tips that we were given from high school, right?
Yeah.
So what they say is, I'm not saying ignore the steps, right? Basically, this is what I'm saying. You see this step here?
Yes, ma'am.
Ignore this one when
Okay.
factorizing, right? Ignore it when factorizing. Go back to where you were doing half times b, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So now, Makot, tell me, what do I do?
Yes.
Where do I take? I take?
You take a half, ma'am, multiply by our b. Our b is negative today.
Yes. Where do I put it?
You put it on the brackets, ma'am.
X minus 3/2. In this bracket, what do I do?
You put x minus 3/2.
Do you see that? You don't have to even know what are the numbers that I take over 9/4 so that I multiply. When you're
Oh,
completing the square, you just go take whatever is in the bracket here.
I see. I understand now, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I
Will
understand.
you
Thank
tell me
you.
why you take whatever is in the bracket? Right.
Sorry, ma'am, are you talking to me?
Yes.
Could you just repeat?
Okay, that was not the correct question. Why are the signs in the brackets the same?
Well, look, ma'am, if you had different signs, if you had positive and negative, then you would have difference of two squares, which would not have an intermediate x value. You would only have an x squared value and your constant.
Yeah, that's deep. You remember when you're doing factorization, I think it was in grade 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
They said that if you have a positive value here, it means the sign inside the bracket will be the same.
Yes.
That's it. So if it's negative here, it's negative here. And then you are taking these things. So basically, okay, let me just say, with computing the square, do not hesitate. Take whatever is inside here. Take whatever is inside here. So this will be x minus the signs will be the same. Because why? Because of this positive here. So in all of them, in completing the square, all of them, because we started by adding and then subtracting and then adding. So this positive means that two things must look the same. So just take this, which is 3/2. Take it again, x minus 3/2. And then now solve this one. What is that one? Guys, how do you solve it without a calculator?
Ma'am, you're going to times -5 by 4 because that's the denominator, and you want the denominators the same.
Thank you. So this one,
Ma'am,
because they're the same, yes? Yes? I'm hearing someone asking a question. Okay. So now this, because they are the same, x times x is x squared, 3 times 3 is 3 squared. Yeah, x minus 3/2 squared. This will be minus 29 over 4. Are we done here?
No, ma'am.
No. Why?
Okay.
Because of this. So let's say therefore, we're just saying therefore. Therefore, y/2 is equals to x minus 3/2 squared minus 29/4. Marco, so you are the one who got us into this problem of not having a
Yes,
y.
ma'am.
Please fix it now. So what do we do, Marco?
Hello, can you hear me? Anyone? My network is fading.
You got us into the problem of having y/2. We only want y. How do we fix it?
Oh, we multiply by 2.
Way.
On the right hand.
Grade 3, 4, 5.
Yes, ma'am. We multiply both sides by 2.
Thank you. What you do on the right, you do on the left. So here you need to be careful. So you say 2 times y/2 equals to 2 times this whole thing inside, x minus 3/2 squared minus 29/4. Remember, you might get a wrong answer because of this. So you multiply the whole 2 inside. So then this will be equals to, let's erase here and write it up here. So this will be equals to y equals to 2 times this first bracket. This will be 2x minus 3/2 squared minus times 2 here. This will be 29/2. Are we sorted? Then we have found the vertex form of the quadratic equation. So we have moved from this form to the vertex form.
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
we all sorted there?
100%.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you are lazy like me, sometimes you don't want to do all the steps, but you know your maths, or you know a little bit of maths, what you can do is what we have learned. You know that y is equals to 2x squared minus 6x minus 10. And you know that a is equals to 2 B is equals to -6 and C is equals to 10. And you know that Y is equals to AX minus B squared plus Q. So because then you know that your A is equals to 2, then you know that the turning point, the coordinates of the turning point is P and Q. From what we have learned, we know that that is the XTP, YTP, which is equals to the formula that we talked about, which is negative B over 2A, comma 4AC minus B squared over 4A. Then you can then substitute that because we said our A is equals to 2, our B is equals to -6, and our C is equals to 10. Then let's substitute. So this becomes -6 because B is -10 over 2A. What is 2? 2 is A. What is A? A is 2. Then 4. A is 2. What is our C? Our C is negative. Is it -10? Yes.
Yeah, it's -10, yeah.
-10, then you put -10 here. Then you go -6 squared over 4. What is our A? Our A is 2. Then you simplify, you get that this top part is 6 over 4, which is then this over here, it's 8, -80, -80 times minus -36 over 8. We can simplify that. So this is 3 over 2. So this is, okay, let me divide quickly. If I divide by 2 by 2, -18 over 4. -18 over 4. I'm trying to simplify this. So this will be equals to divide by 2 again. That will be 20 minus 9 over 2. So this will be equal to 3 over 2, which is -29 over 2. Do you see where I'm going? Guys?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you see that? So now I found the turning point. So I go to my original one. So I found that the TP coordinates of the turning point PQ, which is equals to, in this case, 3 over 2 minus 29 over 2. And I know my A is equals to 2, my B is equals to -6, and my C is equals to -10. Therefore, I can move from the standard form Y equals to AX squared plus BX plus C to a vertex form, which is Y equals to AX minus P squared plus Q. Because I know P and Q, therefore A is equals to 2. This 2 I put here. And then my P, because this is positive, here it will be negative. So it's X minus 3 over 2 squared. Where is my Q? My Q is this one, minus 29 over 2. Make senses?
Wow. Yes, ma'am.
So there are 2 ways of solving it. Know them. Remember, you might not use maths, you might not use it now, but then you might use it in future as well. Some exams are not multiple choice, by the way. So you will need to know. If they say complete the square, complete the square. If they say do this, do this. Thank you very much. Now, I'll use the last 30 minutes and then we add on. I'm not going to do it. I think you should do it. So the other thing is finding the equation. Let's say you're given, find the equation of the following graph. So you're given this graph. I think we did something like this right now, but for now, okay. Before that, guys, I want us to go to the absolute value function. Who is that? I want us to go to this one. F of x. Please look at f of x and give me 1 minute. What do you see? What do you see? Hello?
Ma'am, I can see there's a formula there
Mm-hmm.
or the equation.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me something? Wait, Ryan,
Yes, ma'am.
Marco and Tanya.
Uh,
Please wait a bit. Marco and Tanya,
Yes, ma'am.
you
Yes,
asked me
ma'am.
for the station in functions. What do you see there
Yes,
now?
ma'am.
Based on what we have done, give me notes on the absolute value function. Based on what we have done,
We must give
give
you
me
what, ma'am?
something. Give me something. What do you see here? F of x equals to m absolute value of x minus p plus q.
This is mx plus.
From what we have learned, I know we have learned about parabola, but it's something we can use there to use here.
We have our P and Q, ma'am.
What is that?
It's our turning point.
Okay, it's not. Can we say it's no? We can't say it's a turning point because then the absolute value function doesn't turn. But we can use what name? We used it there, but what name can we use it?
It's a vertex.
Thank you. It's a vertex.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's on? Oh, they want to here. So now, our absolute value function is equal to something like this, right?
Yes,
Meaning
ma'am.
that if you draw it, all the negative values will be positive. So basically, you get, if I put -1 here, I'll get +1. -1 is equal to +1. So meaning here, it'll be here, -2, +2, like that, like that, like that. So which then goes like that. And this one goes like that, right?
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
same thing that we have learned in our parable. We have m is equals to, okay, they called it m. Let's call it a absolute value of x minus p. I almost said plus q. Same thing. We said if a is greater than 0, it will face up like this. Isn't that what we said?
Yes,
If a
ma'am.
Yes,
is
ma'am.
less than 0, it face down like this.
Yes.
So this vertex here is what? Is PQ. And this vertex here is also what? Is also
P.
Thank you.
So now, I want you to go back. Where's my assignment here? And help me. What do you see?
We have the D point, ma'am.
We have the D points. Then what do we do with the D points?
It's 4 and 9.
And then what else do we have?
We have F coordinates 0 and 3
So you can use it to do what?
to find the equation of the line.
You have P, you have Q, to find M and write the equation of the line.
Oh, then we have 2
Find
points.
M.
If we have 2 points,
Find M.
Tanya,
Yes, ma'am. I
you
just
can
want to
do
look
it.
at the. I just want to look at the graph quickly. Thing. We have D and we have T.
So I will remember you need to submit the solution. Question 10 to me. So now that you have looked at the absolute, that's the only thing I will ask you in the absolute value function. There's not much, right? Trust me, there's not much. I'll ask you. So let's go. While you are thinking about it, I want you to find the equation of this graph. Right? It's not my calling you're not up to scale. Let's say this is a parabola. Let's assume it's a parabola, guys. And this is 3. And this is -3. And this is 1. This is our last station, basically. That's part of the system. Find the equation of this. Which one do you think we'll use? Y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Y is equals to ax minus p squared plus q. Or y is equals to ax minus x1, x minus x2. Which one do you think we'll use?
we'll use the third one, ma'am.
Thank you. Because the third one, we say that, sorry, the advantage of this third one is that it shows us the exact where the graph cuts the x-axis. So the x-intercept coordinate will be x1 and 0 and what? And x2 and 0. So let's substitute there. Okay, before that, we know that our x coordinate here it's -3 and 1. So let's write them here. Our x-intercepts, we have -3 and 0 and 1 and 0. So then y is equals to ax minus x1, x minus x2. So let's substitute. Y is equals to ax minus, be careful of the negative sign, guys, x minus 1. So this is ax plus 3, x minus 1. Are we done? Guys, are we done?
No, ma'am, we are not done.
Which point can I use now?
We're gonna use the y cut,
Thank you.
the one intercept.
Which is 3 here, 0 and 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, then you use 0 and 3, substitute 0 and 3. My x is 0, my y is 3. So where I see x, I put 0. Where I see y, I put 3. So here it's 3 equals to x, 0 plus 3, 0 minus 1. So this is 3, -3a equals to 3, which implies that I see something here. A is equals to something, and I'm going to A is equals to 1. Agree or disagree?
Agree, ma'am.
Raina is still there.
Yes, ma'am.
Agree or disagree?
No, agree, yeah.
Wait, we agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Tanya, agree or disagree?
I agree, ma'am, because you take the 3 over to get 3 divided by 3 and then 1.
I disagree. Me, I disagree.
No,
I'll give
because
you
the
the
3 is
answer.
the 3 is going to be minus 3. Oh, I don't.
A equal to 1.
Oh, yes, ma'am, I disagree. Our graph is facing downwards. So our A is supposed to be negative when the graph is facing downwards.
Thank you.
So it's A
So
equals.
this is negative 3. Over that, this is negative 1. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, yes. So it's minus 1. Yes.
Thank you. So basically, if you understand your graphs, you definitely understand your solutions as well.
Yeah.
So now, y is equals to negative 1. Okay, let's write it or not write it. Negative 1 plus 3x minus 1. And then we simplify this. This is negative. Remember, put square brackets so that you simplify this and don't make mistake. So this is x squared plus 3x minus x minus 3. So this is equal to, I'm not writing properly. So this is minus, so x squared plus 2x minus 3, multiplying the negative inside negative x squared, negative 2x plus 3. Therefore, y is equal to negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. Are we sorted?
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you. One last one. Can you please find the equation of this one? I'm going to give you a few minutes to do it. And then we're done. We draw it like this, and not like that. Let's look at this. This. And this is 5. Yes. Please give me the equation of this line.
Y is equals to A, open bracket, x minus p squared plus q.
Yes.
Our A is facing upwards, so it's going to be positive. Then we're going to have A is equals to x. And then we say our turning points is P and Q. So we have negative 1 and 3. So we're going to say x minus into minus 1 is equals to 0. Then our x is equals to positive 1. Yes, our. So we're
Okay.
going to have y is equals to a into x plus 1 plus 5. Yes, ma'am. That's all that I have.
Plus 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Y plus 5.
Because our q is our y-intercept where our graph cuts at y-intercept. So that is why it's plus 5. Oh no, plus 3. We said it's our turning point, yes. Oh, straight line and parabola. Okay, plus 3, ma'am. Plus positive 3.
Something is missing on what you wrote, what you told me to write.
Oh, the square on the brackets. Must square the brackets.
Thank you. Then what? Let Tanya finish it. Let Ryan confirm it. Tanya, what's our next step?
It's
Now that we're here, what do we do?
we need to. It's x squared, so it's x squared plus.
Don't factorize. What are we looking at? What are we looking for now? We are missing something.
The coordinates, ma'am.
Wait. Here. Are we done when we are here?
No, ma'am, we are not done.
Why are we not done?
Because now we must use our y-cards coordinates
To do what?
to substitute on our equation so that
So that
we can get the value of a.
Thank you. We have done a bit, but we are not done because there's an A here. There is no quadratic equation that has an A and you can draw it like this. It means A is some form of a constant. Now, for us to find this A, we have used this point. We go to the point that is remaining, which is our y-intercept. So our y-intercept in this case is what? Is 0 and 5. So we then use 0 and 5 to substitute so that we find the value of A. So here our y equals to a x plus 1 squared plus 3. Then we know that our what am I saying? Y is 5. So 5 equals to a, x is 0, right? 0 plus squared plus 3. So then we know that this is a equals to 5 minus 3. Therefore, our A is equal to 2. Therefore, y is equal to 2x plus 1 squared plus 3. Are we all together now, Tanya? Tanya?
Yes, ma'am. That 5 is on the left hand, and you take it over to the at the bottom. Why does the sign not change?
Okay, let's write it. Let's see why
am
does
I?
it not change. Okay, do you agree that, okay, let's simplify it, right? So this is, why am I having a eraser? 5 equals to a plus 3. Do you agree?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So I can write it as 3 is equals to 5. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
So then this a equals to, I take 3 to the other side.
Oh, so that then the sign of the 3 changes. So it's 5 minus 3. Okay.
Yes, let's do it the grade 3 way or the grade 5 way. I subtract 3 this side because I don't want it. But what you do on the left, do on your left. There we go. That's why it didn't change sign.
Okay, I understand now, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, remember that here you use the vertex form to actually, why it's not moving. I don't know why it's not moving. Why are you not moving? Oh, because there's no eraser. Remember that we use the vertex form, right? Like we use this form because we had the turning point and the y-intercept. But I can ask you to write the standard form of this equation. So if you have y equals to 2x plus 1 squared plus 3, and I want you to write it in a standard form, which is that I want you to write y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. So you can just multiply. So x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus 3. So then this is 2x squared plus 4x plus 2 plus 5 equals to 2x squared 4x plus something is wrong. It's plus 5. That's the standard form. And that's it for today. For next week, okay, no, remember, that's not it. I want you to finish this part. This one. Question 10 and send it to me. And then I'll, if all 3 people send it, then I'll upload the solution for question 10 under additional resources. So now you will send me any questions before I ask you to send me things.
Ma'am, can I just quickly ask, you said in the email you're going to open the link.
Wait.
Okay.
Before that, when you stop the recordings,
I don't
stop
know.
it.